What's up, guys? We are seeing a decent dip in the crypto market right now, and I'm buying. I'm buying simply because I think it won't be that bad as it usual gets, and there are a couple of reasons for that. So let's get right into that. Welcome to the Fomo Factory, of course. If you like the video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on. Sorry, I wasn't there yesterday, but I'm pretty sick right now, so I'll try to make it short as well. But if we do take a look at, Big Daddy Bitcoin to start with, you can see that Bitcoin went from 73K to 63K basically. And we went all the way down to 60 and a half. Oh my God, the world is going to shit, right? Well, like I said, there are a couple of reasons why I think it won't be that bad. Usually I'll be like, hey guys, expect a big correction because these things happen in crypto. That's what I've been saying a lot. But what stands out to me is that, everybody is talking about diminishing returns. And that's an actual thing, of course. But there are also something as diminishing dips, it looks like. If we look at the 2017 bull market, right? What kind of dips did we see? Well, let's start with this one. We saw a dip of 40%. Here we saw let's call it corrections, right? We saw a correction of 36%. Here we saw a correction of 32%. Here we saw a correction of 39%. Another correction of 40%, right? That was all in the middle of a parabolic bull market. So it didn't matter that these dips were there if you weren't dollar costing, right? You could have just ignored the corrections and rode your back all to the sky. Now, if we look at the 2021 bull market, we of course also had corrections, right? Our first correction was like 20%. We had another correction right here, which was 20%. And we had another correction right here, which was 30%. We had another correction right here very quickly, which was 25%. So this is overall on average more like 30% instead of 35/40. Now, if we look at the current bull market, quite interesting. We had a correction right here, 20%. We had a correction here. Guess what it was? 22%. We had a correction right here once the ETF got approved. And that correction was 21%. We have a correction right now, which was, wick to wick, 18%. So we go in the bull markets from 40% corrections to 30% corrections to now 20% corrections. That's interesting. I don't know. It looks like kind of a pattern to me. Doesn't mean we cannot see bigger corrections, but so far it's pretty funny to see how that works. Now, if we do take a look at the altcoin market is having a slightly bigger correction than Bitcoin, obviously. We had a correction wick to wick of 24%, but it's nothing that crazy and weird compared to what we have seen a couple of months ago at the beginning of the year, where we had a correction of 25%. And so far, every single bull market correction was worth buying into. Just saying, right? So I see that there are some people asking me like, should I sell? Is it time to be worried? Is the top in? Hey, maybe there's a local top. Who cares? I mean, if you're trading for the long term, why would you care about something locally, right? I think it is definitely worth noticing that these dips are usually for buying. Now, what is interesting though, if you look at the USDT dominance, is quite bouncing off of this level right here. So we had let me put it on the chart that makes sense. Let me make it like it makes sense, right? Whatever. We started off right here. USDT dominance went up, so people were deploying USDT back or their crypto back in USDT. The same happened over here, and now we broke below it. That's at least something different, but we are above it again. So yeah, what's the conclusion? Well, Bitcoin made an all-time high and people are taking profits because they bought low. That's kind of what people are doing right now. And once they see that it goes down, other people are following, which causes that domino effect, actually. Nothing too crazy. If we do take a look at the chart that doesn't make sense at all, it's the Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is showing how much money is sitting in Bitcoin compared to the rest of the market, right? But also compared to USDT, USDC, which is of course not going up, right? But also compared to coins like XRP and Cardano, the coins that like barely move and people are not really buying anymore, but have a huge market cap. So they make up for a lot of the Bitcoin dominance, which might give a twisted image of what the dominance actually is. So I pulled up a different chart, and that's this chart. This is also Bitcoin divided by the total market cap, so the Bitcoin dominance, but minus USDT, USDC, Ethereum, Cardano, and XRP. So if you take these coins away, because let's say you are not interested in buying Ethereum, XRP, or Cardano, then you don't need to look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, right? And then this chart is way more accurate. So let's take a look at the real Bitcoin dominance, okay? So what this shows is the Bitcoin dominance stopped in June 2023, which is almost a year ago already, right? And since then, it's been making lower highs. So the dominance is fading. It's not falling off a cliff yet, but it is kind of showing like, okay, it's losing its strength right here. So money is flowing back from Bitcoin into altcoins, not in the XRPs and the Cardanos, but again, like I'm not buying that. So for me, that's not like relevant, right? Where's my line? My camera is right in front of that. So stupid. So if we do take a look at this, you can draw a line like this. And this is interesting, right? Because we had support here, support here, support here. We fell below it, tested it as resistance and got rejected so far. So this might be the beginning of the dominance falling. And that could cause an altcoin season, right? I am not the biggest proponent of calling altcoin season here and altcoin season there. And so far, that's been working out because so far we haven't seen an alt season. But at a certain point, we will see this go down. And that's what an alt season is. You could, of course, say like, yeah, we're already in an alt season. We are in the smallest, slowest, most boring alt season ever, if that's the case, right? I mean, we went down on the dominance in a matter of almost a year with like 7%, right? This was an alt season where we went down from December 2020 to May 2021 with 35%. That was an alt season, right? See the difference right there? So I think that this could definitely happen. Now, it will never go down in a straight line. Like, you know, this looks like straight line, and it kind of was. But that's not always the case, of course. So if you do take a look at the biggest levels that we could face, then you could say like, hey, Fibonacci is just a great tool. So around this area, which is not that far from where we are. But then the golden zone, the 0.5 and the 0.618 comes in at this area right here, and that could correspond with a, you know, fall of 7-10% give or take on the dominance. Now that's quite a lot. That's kind of what we have seen, slightly more even than what we have seen over the complete last year. That would be nice, right? And there's a lot of resistance and support coming in over here as well. At a certain point, it could definitely be that we go down all the way to this level, but that's usually when Bitcoin is really topping out. Like, I don't expect this to happen the first half of this year at least. I think this could happen like, I don't know, man, maybe end of the year. Now, the key is to put everything together, in my opinion. So what you could take a look at, for example, look, this is others. Others is the total crypto market, excluding the top 10, so actual altcoins. And this is others dominance. So how much are these altcoins dominating the crypto space? Well, this is going up since like forever, right? So altcoins are more and more dominating when it comes to market cap, right? Now, this, of course, has a long way to go up, right? It has a long way to go up. And we had a lot of resistance over here. We broke above it, and now it seems like, hey, we're getting support from it. What could bring the dominance up more? If you like altcoins, you want to see this go up, right? Well, money from Bitcoin mainly going into the crypto market. So therefore, we looked at the Bitcoin dominance, and it looks like that wants to go down. But you could also take a look at the Ethereum dominance, for example. The Ethereum dominance is, it is sitting there, but it could definitely break. And then a lot of money from Ethereum could go into altcoins. But there's another altcoin, which is dominating the crypto space quite a lot right now. That's Solana. And if you do take a look at the Solana dominance, then you see this chart. Solana is ripping. Solana is really ripping. And I don't expect this dominance to go down anytime soon. But at a certain point, it will, right? That's the rotation. Bitcoin, Ethereum, high caps like Solana, and then low caps. At a certain point, people will be like, okay, you know what? Solana, it had its run. Time to move on to, I don't know, AVAX or whatever the fuck, right? And then this dominance will go down as well. So I think that's quite interesting. I don't know what this is going to turn out. But yeah, it kind of makes sense that the Solana dominance takes a good dive at a certain point. Now, something really interesting, and I've showed also this on the Patreon, so you got this information already. But this chart right here is maybe one of the most interesting charts if we put it on the daily. And in full honesty, I completely stole this from Eric Crown, but he's a smart dude, and I felt like, okay, I just want to look at what smart people are looking at. So this is the Bitcoin production cost. That's this red line, right? So this is what it costs to mine a Bitcoin, to produce a Bitcoin. Now, once the halving comes, these miners get half of the reward. So it will cost double to mine a Bitcoin. If you look at previous halvings, these white lines, these white vertical lines are the halvings. For example, here it cost $2.50 to mine a Bitcoin. And once the halving came, it shot all the way up to $5. In this halving right here, it cost like $3.50 to mine a Bitcoin. And it shot all the way up to $700 to mine a Bitcoin. This halving right here, it cost $4,000 to mine a Bitcoin, and it went to $8,000. What the funny thing is though, is this. Look at the Bitcoin price. It never went below the production cost, right? That's funny. But it's just funny. And it kind of makes sense. Otherwise it wouldn't work. But if you look at it like that, so Bitcoin is never worth less than what it costs to actually mine Bitcoin. Kind of duh, of course, right? But then you can also kind of do the math for the coming halving, because it now costs how much to mine a Bitcoin? 30K. So once we get the halving, it will cost 60K to mine a Bitcoin. If Bitcoin never goes below the production cost, could that mean that Bitcoin will never go below 60K again? It could, right? It could. And on the other hand, yeah, it's also like here after the halving, it cost $9,000 to mine a Bitcoin and it went all the way to 6,000. So of course this could be 60, and then the production cost could go to 50, for example. And Bitcoin obviously also can go to 50. But you know, these real low prices, yeah, I think it's kind of over with it. Or we do have to have some fucking weird shit before the halving comes. But, you know, you shouldn't count on that, really. So if you look at individual altcoins right now, it's already getting a little better. But maybe it's very short-lived. And by the time you watch the video, it's already crashing again. I don't know about that. But what I'm looking at is some altcoins. And just use your Fibonacci tool. It's really a useful tool. So if you don't have it, right, what you want to do is put your Fibonacci tool over it, right click, go to settings, copy these settings right here. Sorry, wrong tool. Copy these settings right here, pause the video, take it over, right? That's how you want to use settings right there. And then you want to take it, if it's already going down, you want to take it from the last run. So from the low of that run to the high of that run. So the low was this wick right here, and the high was this wick right here. So you take it from there. And then you look what the important levels are. And the most important levels is the golden zone 0.5, 0.618. And for example, Chainlink exactly bounced off the 0.618, right? Also, it comes in with the bull market support band, plus with some, you know, resistance over here that could possibly turn into support. And guess what? It goes back a lot further. If you look at this right here, we have a lot of wicks in this area, resistance right here. So strong point of support. That's kind of how I'm looking at places where I will buy my altcoins. Now, some altcoins are stronger than the other. Also, let that tell you something, okay? For example, the altcoin market just took a 25% correction. Some altcoins, like IMX, right? It had a correction of in total 34%, right? So this had a bigger correction than the overall market. Kind of makes sense, right? It also had a way harder run than the overall market. The overall market did a 5x and IMX made a, well, 10x. So, of course, the correction is bigger. But if you look, for example, at an AVAX, you could look at this and you'd be like, okay, what correction did it have? 7%, right? From weekly open to where we are right now. 7%. So AVAX is a lot stronger than the overall market. That tells you something, that if the market turns bullish again, AVAX could go on a run. And if you ever do see AVAX having a good dip, it might be worth buying into it. And so I don't think that, you know, we will see these corrections more often, and it could be one day, like I remember the last bull market. Sometimes now we see these corrections happen, right? And everybody be like, oh, this is going down, this is going down. You know, last bull market, I remember waking up and just see 30% or more of my portfolio being vanished, right? I didn't even see it happen. It just happened like this. And it was like, what? Where the fuck is my money? Yesterday I had money. Now where? Right? That's like, hey, still on the table, right? That happens during bull markets. And the higher we go, the harder these corrections are going to be. So now you might be like, oh, 20%, help. But it could definitely be that once Bitcoin sits at 100K or something and altcoins are way higher than where they are right now, you know, you'll see these corrections being way more brutal as well. Don't let it scare you off. Don't let it scare you off. It's not necessary. It will be fine. So this is kind of what I'm looking at right now. And again, mainly the Bitcoin dominance, excluding these coins because, you know, I'm not planning on buying those anyway. So why should I include an XRP in the Bitcoin dominance to get an idea of how the altcoin market is doing against Bitcoin, like Benjamin Cohen style? Like, I'm not planning on buying on XRP, so this is how the altcoin market is doing against Bitcoin. Well, it's not doing that great last year, right? And this doesn't look that bullish, right? Yes, you could say like, okay, we're gonna have some support here, and altcoins could bleed a little bit against Bitcoin, but overall the move should be down, in my opinion. So that's kind of what I'm looking at the moment. I don't want to make it longer than it needs to be. Dropping a lot of interesting stuff soon. Again, I had an interview with Illuvium, and Illuvium is. I bought it. After that interview, I said goodbye to the dear co-founder, and I went straight to the exchange to buy some Illuvium because I got too much FOMO of that, man. So yeah, and I'm gonna review some new altcoins dropping as well. First, I'm gonna get a bit better because my throat is sore. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on, check out the Patreon down below, and I'll see you tomorrow.